Hey folks, this is Vint with Dance Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly talk about Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Now, I don't see why Tom Clancy's name has to be in the title of everything. It's probably like an IP thing, but I'm just going to call it The Division 2 from here on out. So, I've been playing this game a lot. The last I got the game about a month or two ago, and I have over 200 hours in it now. I've reached level 40 because I own the DLC, and I'm doing a lot of endgame content. And now I've started to optimize and create different builds. And the build I kind of want to focus on today was my skill build. I've labeled it turret here under my loadout, but this is the current build that I'm currently using because I'm a big backline, letting my turrets do all of the work kind of guy. I don't like to get in people's faces. I like to sit back and let the chaos ensue as I kind of like sip my tea in the back, you know what I mean? So I want to quickly just show you what my current build is. Now I have to stress, this is not one of those videos where I pretend that I know everything about the game. I do not. There are plenty of people out there that have this game down to a science. I am not one of those people. I play casually, and I will be admitting that throughout the video. The build I'm about to show you is what I'm currently using, and yes, it could be improved. I know that very well, and I'm in the process of doing so. But I want to show you what I have. That way, it'll help you get through some of the more challenging encounters. I'm currently doing a lot of my missions on the challenging difficulty, and I'm able to breeze through them fairly well. I'm even doing a couple of legendaries on the summit. So the summit is like a gauntlet, if you will, where you go from one floor to the next. I've been testing the waters with legendary, and so as long as I don't get hit, I can actually progress, which is actually quite good. But to get there, I'll show you what I have with this current build. So let's go ahead and start. I am using the Technician skill tree, and the reason I'm using Technician is because there is, well, I mean, it favors skills for the most part, like this one here, plus 10% skill damage. There's one down here for healing. I guess you could switch that out if you prefer to heal, but I prioritize skill damage, preferably skill efficiency wherever possible, but in this case, it's skill damage. In case you're wondering, skill efficiency encompasses like damage and haste and a number of things. It's kind of like weapon handling on the assault side of it, whereas skill efficiency encompasses a lot of things. You want to like first find skill efficiency and stack that, and then get into individual things like skill damage and the like. The Technician tree also has this +1 skill tier, and that's incredibly important because as you get more skill tier, right now I'm 6, your skills will get better. Your turrets and your drones and everything else will get better. Now, you're probably wondering, you experienced people out there, why do I have 6 pieces of gear that are yellow and that? I'm wasting one. And that I've got 7 skill tier right now, but it only goes up to 6. And no, there is no like overcharge, overclock with the 7th skill that I have. At some point, yes, I will be converting and optimizing one of these pieces of gear to a blue to give myself a bit more survivability. But as it stands, like I just haven't found gear yet that allows me to really change just the armor piece of it. If I go into this, for example, you'll note that these stats aren't that great. Again, this is more like beginner gear. I'm currently working on getting better gear, but I currently optimized this and tweaked it to give myself skill damage. So because I modified this, I cannot come back to the core attribute and adjust it to armor. I can only optimize or change one thing about an item. But at some point, when I find a mask piece that is the brand that I want and has attributes that are maxed the way I want it, I can then, maybe change the core attribute on that piece to an armor set, and then I won't be wasting a skill, if that makes any sense. So just to recap, the tech the technician here will give you an extra skill thing, an extra skill point, and I have 6 here. 1 is wasted. I know that, and I'm in the process of eventually getting better gear to where I can convert one of them into an armor, the core attribute into an armor. This one is another example. You know, I've got repair skills on here, skill damage, skill duration. I don't need repair skills. It's nice to have because, you know, in a situation where I need to be more of a healer, I can use this as well to help me out. This isn't like primarily all damage. I'm not focused on damage with my current build. I can throw a hive down and heal somewhat well. You know, so I'm kind of like a jack of all trades that way in my current setup. So yeah, I have, as far as the individual pieces of gear that I have the Empress brand set. I have 3 of those. So I have skill health, skill damage, and most importantly, skill efficiency. Again, skill efficiency encompasses a lot of that skill stuff, damage and haste and health. I don't know what it all encompasses. I'm still a newbie, but you want efficiency over everything else wherever possible. So you want 3 pieces of the Empress International. That's what I have. This piece here is percussive maintenance. It's a named armor piece. It's the Alps Summit armament set. And I don't care for this. It's plus 20% to repair skills and then duration and then haste. I guess you could throw more Alps pieces on to get more of a bonus, but again, I'm trying to focus more on skill damage. The reason why I have this armor piece, it's not for the armament set. It's not for the brand set. It's for this talent, perfect tech support. Skill kills increase total skill damage by 25% for 27 seconds. That's huge. That is a huge increase to skill damage. Everything else here under attributes is sort of icing on the cake. So I took percussive maintenance and equipped this sucker so that I can just do more damage with this perfect tech support. That's why that armor piece is included. I have 1 Hannah U Corporation brand set that gives me skill haste. I'm looking for a second one that does skill damage, but I have another armor piece in its place from the Wyvern brand set that does skill damage. So at some point, like, it depends on what piece I find first that gives me the best attributes that are like maxed out. At the moment, like, I just found that my Wyvern here, having one of these with the 10% skill damage, and I have in my library I managed to get up this 10% skill damage, so I modified it to include that. Like, I just found that to be more effective than finding a low armor that was Hannah, if that makes any sense. I could try and find a second piece that had Hannah U, and then that would give me another 10% skill damage. But, like, the skill, like, these stats aren't as good as the other piece I'm wearing. So, you know, I'm in the process of trying to optimize that a bit better. And then these 2 down here, that's the Empress, and that's the 3rd Empress that contributes to this brand set that I have. And again, wherever possible, I'm modifying it for skill damage. You can modify the same attribute that you've already modified. You just can't modify a different one. Like, I couldn't change this armor regen to something else because I've already messed with the skill damage slot, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I'm in the process of still working that out. As far as weapons are concerned, the capacitor is amazing for a skill build because of its ability. It says talents: shooting enemies building stacks to a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage. After 5 seconds, stacks decay 1 per second. And most importantly, for each skill tier, gain 7.5% weapon damage. So pretty much it's an assault rifle that rewards you for having more skill points. So this is the perfect gun for me. This is what I'm currently using. At some point I'll find one with better stats on it, but this is what I currently have, which is great. And then my second weapon that I have is a gun that I found called Harmony. Harmony is it's not my favorite because it's a rifle. It's not automatic. You have to keep click, 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 click. And with my carpal tunnel and tendonitis, it's not very friendly. So I don't use it as much as I'd like just because of medical reasons. But it has a great talent. Perfectly in sync. Hitting an enemy grants plus 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. So, and the rest of it sort of focuses on if you shoot an enemy with this weapon, your skill damage it increases. And by the same token, it says using a non-shield skill, like a turret, for example, or a drone, when it damages an enemy with a skill, grants plus 20% weapon damage for 5 seconds. So the damage you do buffs your skills, and the damage that your skills do buffs your weapon. So I alternate between these two. Like if I'm in a close-knit firefight, I'll use capacitor because it's automatic. If I'm at range and I'm just having fun drinking tea, I can just snipe people here, just pop out of cover, shoot off a few rounds, hit somebody, and then my skills are buffed for 5 seconds. I'll do that. So these are the two weapons that I'm currently using, and yes, I'm well aware these aren't the best attributes I could get, but I'm getting there. Okay, so there's that. As far as a gun, this is something I'm still working on. I've read about builds that include a weapon that improves skill damage in some way, but I'm still researching that. This Maxim is something I found. Perfect Spike. Headshots grant plus 25% skill damage for 15 seconds. I 1% of the time I use a pistol. I'm never going to use this, but it's there if I need it. There are some like challenges that you can turn on in game to where you only get to use a pistol for a while until you find ammo. It's one of those directives that you can enable. So that might be something to think about, if you plan to use that particular directive / challenge. So it's the Maxim 9 that you could use for that. As far as the individual skills that I'm using, I have a turret. I just use the plain old assault turret. And again, because I've got 6 points in that, my damage is 120% and 420% health. This thing never dies unless the timer runs out. That's that. And there are mod slots. I'm still in the process of finding better ones, but I've got damage, health, and haste in here. And the like. So that's what I use for the one skill, and then the other skill is drone, and that just flies around and shoots things. I'm using the striker drone. That thing does decent damage. The drone is nice because it can get behind cover, whereas the turret is static. The turret it's stronger, but the disadvantage with the turret is that if the enemy is behind cover, you can't get around cover the turret cannot like move. You have to pick it up and throw it somewhere else. Whereas with the drone, it's a bit more mobile. It can fly behind cover and shoot somebody. It's a bit weaker, but it's still fairly tough with my current build. So these are the two. It's all offensive. As long as you stay behind cover, you really don't need a healing skill. You really don't. Just stay behind cover. Just don't even shoot if you don't want to. Just keep aggro off of yourself, stay away from everything, and just let your skills do all the work. So that's the current thing I'm currently using. Keep in mind that watch level is another way to just improve your skill damage. I mean, there's the utility of your skill damage. I'm currently working on that. And this is not something that you can improve immediately. This is something that you improve over time. So just by playing the game, you're going to be able to throw more points into that. You can also, through expertise at the one station. Oh, I forgot. The recent patch, there's a tinkering station now, and you can just jump right into expertise from here. But if I could find my turret, there we go, the assault. I'm proficient in that just by using it, and by upgrading it, you can improve your damage. So don't forget to, through your expertise workbench area, to throw components and materials into that to upgrade your skills and your weapons, like your capacitor, your turrets, and the like, so that they're better. So that's the current build that I'm currently using. And again, I can typically get through all of the levels on challenging, and again on summit I can do challenging like just fine. And then on occasion, when I'm feeling cheeky, I'll do legendary, a couple of floors. But if you die, you're kind of thrown back a couple of floors, which sucks, to the last checkpoint. Now, to find the gear that you're looking for, you're going to either find it, you can either do it in the summit, or you can do it in the countdown map. Countdown is like a special mode. Countdown is like a multiplayer, forced multiplayer kind of thing where you need people. But Countdown is like a map. It's timed. You got to get through it quickly. I've done it once and failed because my team wasn't good. But you get items there a lot more quickly. Or if you prefer like a more solo, casual experience, you can do the summit. The summit is just a gauntlet of floors that you're getting through. And what you can do is you can set your targeted loot. If you click on the summit icon here, and then if you look on the very bottom of the screen, it says show targeted loot. You want to hit H for select targeted loot. You hold that in, and that brings this up. You're going to want to find the Hannah U Corporation ones. You're going to want to find the Empress ones. I find that using these yellow sets are the Wyvern. Using a combination of yellows are more effective than any green set that I found. There are a couple of green sets that do, give you skill-related buffs. But I find that I get more skill damage by using all yellows as opposed to a 4-piece green and 2 yellows, if that makes any sense. So you want to look for your Hannah U's, you want to look for your Empress, your Wyverns, things that give you skill damage, and most importantly, skill efficiency. So there you go, folks. That was just a quick, again, this is more of like a poor man's build for right now. Once you find the pieces and the weapons and the stuff that you're looking for, then you want to play on a harder difficulty to try and find pieces with better attribute scores so that all you have to do is modify the one thing and then bam, your thing is perfect. Right now, as you can see, this mask, health, this is nothing. Like this health 13,000, this is wasted almost. It gives me a little survivability, it's fine. The mods I typically throw on my armor pieces, armor on kill in case I take any damage. Also anything related to skill damage or skill haste is what I typically put on these things. But yeah, I'm looking, at some point you'll want to find better armor pieces to replace the ones that you have, and so that their attributes are maxed out and they focus on skill damage and skill efficiency if you can find it. Again, this one's a little bit better. I mean, skill damage is up there, skill duration. Duration is very important. During a boss fight, you do not want to run out of your turret and your drone and then sit there for 20 seconds when enemies swarm you and you're scrambling to find cover while your things are on cooldown. So, having that skill duration during an extended fight is very helpful. So yeah, this is, again, I have to stress, not a perfect build by any means, but it has seen me through a lot of challenging encounters. Keep in mind, this will not work in the countdown map toward the end because there are enemies that will use your skills against you. So you may want to consider a more in-your-face kind of build that's more focused on assault. I've got this assault one instead that I run in case I do a countdown. Okay. So there you go, folks. That was a quick look at my skill build. Again, this is more of like an introductory beginner skill build with room to improve. But it served me well. It'll serve you well too. This is Vince. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all next time. Take care.